So the second thing we wanted to do is delve a little bit more deeply into sort of whether people had a positive sense of governments posting information on places like blogs, social networking sites, Twitter, text messaging, et cetera. And so we asked them a series of questions, sort of attitudinal questions, and asked them, the extent to which they agreed or disagreed with those questions. And again, we found a little bit of a mixed bag there. So people, when we said, does it help people be more informed about what government is doing? A pretty good number of people said that it does, although they didn't feel super strongly about it. The same thing kind of happened with the statement that this type of engagement makes government agencies and officials more accessible. You had a group there of about a third that really strongly agreed with that. Another group that kind of mildly agreed. As we sort of we wanted to do 2 positive statements and 2 negative statements. So we, kind of balance things out. And so we delivered them a couple of negative statements and saw how they felt about those. I guess on the plus side for people who want to do this stuff, people generally don't think it's a waste of money, which is good, since you're going to basically find a pretty good chunk of people who think anything that the government does is a waste of money. They are a little bit more balanced on whether or not they think it delivers the same government information in different ways, just sort of repackaging of stuff that's already out there. And so I think, as I'll talk about in a little bit, I think that's kind of a key thing to keep in mind in terms of making these services really sort of relevant and useful to people, figuring out how to go beyond sort of just repackaging of things that they can get elsewhere. So I said to sort of keep in mind that there were certain groups that had really different attitudes towards social media outreach. And again, we're sort of defining this really broadly, really different attitudes towards this type of outreach compared with the overall population. And one group in particular that I think is really worth pointing out is people of color. African Americans and Latinos have really different attitudes towards this stuff when compared to whites. So the chart on the left there shows whites, African Americans, and Latinos, and the proportion of those folks who think it's very important for government agencies to post their information out in the social media space. And what you can see is that everybody sort of thinks it's important, or I'm sorry, this is the people who think different online government offerings are very important. So as you can see, everybody sort of thinks that it's important to have information on your website. Everybody thinks it's important to have contact information. Everybody thinks it's important to allow you to complete tasks online. When we get to posting information and alerts on social networks, African Americans and Latinos really jump out. They're about twice as likely as whites to say that this type of outreach is very important. And obviously, this is a group that I think is probably of particular interest to a lot of government agencies in terms of being able to, reach populations that might not be getting reached in other ways.